What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Inside the Horseshoe. My name is Matt, and do the Colts have the best running back room in the NFL? I want to give my thoughts on that, but before I do, if you're new, please click the subscribe button. It would help a lot if you did so. Also, click that bell icon so you're notified when a video goes up, as well as when we go live. We're going to have a lot of live streams coming up before the season, so it'd be awesome to have you there. Also, if you like this video, smack that like button. Let me know in the comments below on who you think has the best running back room, whether it's Indy or any other team. Now, I should define what best running back room means as far as when I'm talking about it. And best running back room is not who has the best running back in the NFL. Because, you'll see a lot of people saying,
No, Derrick Henry, he's the best running back, so the Titans have the best running back room.
But here's the thing. When I say the best running back room, I'm not talking about one individual running back. Because, yeah, you can make an argument for, Derrick Henry. I think right now pretty much everybody says he's the best. But when I'm talking best running back room, I'm talking about all the running backs. Like, when you have one go out, how does that affect it? Do we take a slide? Like, do we take a big hit when it comes to other running backs coming in for, let's say, Jonathan Taylor? Let's say Jonathan Taylor goes out and we need to have a guy come in, so he can have a breather. How does that affect our run game? Does our run game take a big hit? How big of a hit does it take? And to me, I'll be honest, I think the Colts have the best running back room because you can put any of these running backs in and they do so much for you in so many different ways. I want to kind of go through each one and explain to you why I believe they are the best, running back room in the NFL. And I'm going to start out, and I'll let you guys know, two guys in particular, which one of them I think is going to make the team over the other. So I'll get into it real quick. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, could Deion Jackson maybe be running back 4 and take Jordan Wilkins' spot for the Colts? So I do want to look at it. Obviously, Deion Jackson, he's an undrafted running back. He was undrafted from Duke. So, that's obviously going to take a hit on him. But I'll pull up everyone's numbers. That way you guys can see what the numbers are for each one of these. And I'll start out with Deion, because he is our new guy, right? He is the new boy. So Deion Jackson, as we see here, last season, 682 yards rushing, average 4.2 yards per carry, which is pretty solid, I think. 5 touchdowns, played in a pretty decent conference with the ACC. I know the ACC is considered among the best. I think everybody says, is, the SEC, but after that, it's like, who's number 2? ACC is definitely a conference that's brought up a lot. But, he didn't have like big numbers, right? He didn't cross the 1,000 yard mark at all. So obviously, that's a hit on him. And then we look at Jordan Wilkins, who, is running back 4 for this year. That could change next year. But looking at Jordan Wilkins here, as we pull up his numbers, 308 yards on 84 carries, 3.7 yards per carry, which I think in the NFL is quite good. Only got 1 rushing touchdown. But then again, the Colts weren't the greatest at the start of the year when it came to red zone, scoring. That was the big problem. I think that really did affect them when they played against some of the better teams. It's like, yeah, you can get down the field, but there's a reason why, Blankenship was the leading scorer, I believe, in the entire NFL for a while. But, his receiving yards, 12 receptions, 105 yards, pretty solid for a running back. He's been on the team for a while. He would come in for Jonathan Taylor, and I thought he did quite well. So really looking at Jordan Wilkins and Deion Jackson, which one of them do I think is going to make the team and be running back number 4? To me, anyway, right now, it's going to be Jordan Wilkins. Jordan Wilkins has proved himself not just this year, but in previous seasons to be a good running back that you can plug in whenever we need somebody to come in, and he'll have good games. I remember not this past season, but the one before, he had like 100 and something yard game rushing when we needed him to come in. He can play well. He's a really solid running back in the NFL. He's definitely not a starter, especially when we have guys like Marlon Mack and Jonathan Taylor. But, Jordan Wilkins, to me, I feel like you could put him on another team and he can be running back number 2. Like, he can be a really good running back number 2. It's just we got a lot of talent here. So at the end of the day, I think he makes the team over Deion Jackson. I think Deion Jackson is on the practice squad. And to me, I think it's more of the who do you think will be picked up more? Like, who has the higher chance of being picked up by another team if they're put on the practice squad? To me, I think Jordan Wilkins is definitely the guy that would be taken off the practice squad by another team compared to Deion Jackson. Deion Jackson, he's undrafted, so I don't really see a whole lot of teams really going crazy for somebody like him right away. I think if he gets picked up by another team, it's going to take a little bit, and then he'll be taken by, let's say, a team that needs that running back number 2, or let's say a running back went down and we need to get some guy, to replace him. I think that team would take Deion Jackson in that scenario, but still hasn't done anything in the NFL. Jordan Wilkins has, and he's proven he's a really solid running back. So for running back number 4, to me, I think that's really good. I don't see a whole lot of teams having a running back as good as Jordan Wilkins as their 4th option. So Jordan Wilkins, he's going to run this year for sure. He's going to get touches. And honestly, for me, as running back number 4, I love it. I think it's a great running back to have there. So we'll go on to our next guy, and that's Nyheim Hines, somebody that Colts Nation absolutely loves. And look, we should all love Nyheim Hines. This guy is amazing. I love him. He is one of my favorite players on this team. And look, I'm glad he's getting some recognition because this guy deserves it, man. He is a really good, not only running back, but he's one of those running backs that can offer you both, receiving, he's a great receiver. And, like I said, he's also a great runner when it comes to playing in the backfield. But as we look at Nyheim Hines, real quick, this past season, he had 380 yards on 89 carries, average 4.3 yards per carry, 3 touchdowns. A couple of those were against the Lions, I believe. I believe one was a rushing, one was a passing. And speaking of that, 482 yards out of 63 catches, led the team in catches, I believe. Average 7.7 yards per catch and 4 touchdowns. I like those numbers. I really do. I think those are really nice numbers to have, especially for a third running back. And I think what Nyheim Hines offers and what makes him so valuable to this team is the receiving threat that he is. Because once he has the ball in his hands, it doesn't matter if you hand it to him or you throw it to him. He is going to cause damage. He can tear you up. He's fast. He has great footwork. He has great hands. You don't see him really fumbling as much. So honestly, I love him as our third running back. And honestly, I think he's going to be running back number 2 next year. I'll get into why I think that's the case in a little bit. But really, I think what Nyheim Hines offers you is he offers you both, the threat, a threat to the defense when it comes to the receiving and running game, because, he's just dominant in that way. He's really, really difficult to stop. He's shown it, a lot of teams respect him for that reason. So when we look at him and the yards he can give you and the speed he offers you for a third running back, I think that's a great option. To me, if one of our guys, Jonathan Taylor, Marlon Mack went down, if one of them went down, I think Nyheim Hines can step in for either one of them and do really, really well. I think he can give you a lot of yards. I think he can give you, threat when it comes to receiving. And trust me, he's going to be in the field a lot because when we have play action and whatnot going on, he's going to be out there because he's just a threat. Like I said, when it comes to catching the ball, he just offers Carson Wentz another weapon. And honestly, I think that's great. I think Carson Wentz is going to ball out. And I think Nyheim Hines is going to play really, really good. So, yeah, that's a guy I think just adds to this running back room. And to me, just makes this it's just another statement as to why the Colts have the best running back room in the NFL. Now let's go to Marlon Mack. Marlon Mack obviously was hurt this past season, Achilles, and I do want to say, before I really, praise him, he did tear an Achilles. That is something we do have to keep in mind. He said he was 100%. He was cleared 100%. He's ready for week 1. He can start in preseason. He can start in the regular season, although I don't think he's going to start. I think he's going to come off the bench. But to me, I think the Achilles is something not be worried about and not be scared of, but we should keep an eye on it and just make sure, okay, look, you're clear to go, but how are you going to look on the field? Because you never know. Some guys, it affects them really, really bad. But with that being said, we're going to go to his 2019 season. As we see down here, out of 247 carries, he had just over 1,000 yards, or I should say just under 1,100 yards, 1,091 yards, 4.4 yards per carry, really good numbers, 8 touchdowns. Receiving, he was okay. You can definitely tell he wasn't a big threat when it came to the, passing, element. but still 82 yards, got you about 6 yards a catch, no touchdowns, which is all fine and whatnot. But honestly, to me, having Marlon Mack in as running back number 2 is incredible. Look, I can't believe the Colts brought him back, and I can't believe they brought him back for as little as they got for him. $3 million? That's insane because Marlon Mack has shown he is a number 1 back in this league. And to me, I feel like the talent is just going to show throughout the season. And I mean, unless he just loves Indy so much, he would be willing to come off the bench, or maybe, him and Jonathan Taylor are willing to, like, maybe Marlon Mack starts one game and then Jonathan Taylor starts next and Marlon Mack starts one and whatever. I don't think that would ever happen, but still, if Marlon Mack is willing to, be running back number 2 in Indy, I would love to have him back. I just feel like another team is going to offer him a big contract and he's going to be running back number 1 for that team. And in all honesty, if he left for that reason in particular, I would totally understand. I would be sad, of course, because I love Marlon Mack, but I just get the feeling this is it. You know what I mean? And, I had a feeling he was going to come back at the start of last season, like after the injury, because I was like, look, he's going to have to prove himself, I think, if he wants to get that big money and, be the starting running back for a team. I think he's going to have to come back and prove himself, and that's exactly what happened. But still, I think with Marlon Mack, he is going to play this season. He's going to be great. And then I think this is it for him. I think he moves on to another team that's going to, play him a lot more. But I hope he stays. I hope he comes back. I just get the feeling that Marlon Mack is not going to be coming back, which sucks. But look, he deserves to be a starting running back in this league. He has the talent. He has the capability to be that. He can get you 1,000 yards. I love Marlon Mack. He's going to be phenomenal for us this year. And look, I would honestly say, even without Jonathan Taylor, we would be one of the best running back groups in the league. I would say top 5 because of how good Marlon Mack is. The fact that we have him and then Jonathan Taylor, I think just proves how good of a running back room we have and proves why it's the best running back room. So speaking of Jonathan Taylor, I want to get into him. Jonathan Taylor, obviously the best running back on this team, had a phenomenal rookie season with 232 yards, 232 carries for 1,169 yards, averaging 5 yards per carry, which is nice. 11 touchdowns. Obviously played incredible in that final game with 252 yards, couple touchdowns. He had 36 receptions, 299 yards, averaging 8.3 yards per catch. And then, of course, 1 touchdown catching the ball. He did fumble it once. We lost the ball that one time. I believe it was in the Baltimore game. I could be wrong, but, that did happen. But look, man, Jonathan Taylor really showed that he is one of the best running backs in the league. I think he's a top 5 running back in the league for sure. That is just my opinion on it. But Jonathan Taylor is one of those guys that is not only big, he is fast and he is strong. Like, it is really, really difficult to bring him down. He is one of those type of running backs that a lot of defenses are going to have to game plan around because he is just that good. He, like I said, start of the year wasn't the greatest. I know that Minnesota game he was awesome in, like he really was. But there was moments in the start of the season where it took him some time to develop. He had to get used to the NFL because it wasn't college. It's obviously a lot more difficult to play in the NFL compared to college. So he had to adapt. He had to take some time. But what was it, the last 6 weeks of the season? Boom. Best running back maybe in the NFL in those last 6 weeks. He was so good. I think he led the league in yards, if not, he was definitely top 2 or 3. He was a monster in those last 6 weeks. And it shows to Indy and it shows to everybody in general that when he's on the field, he's going to scare some defenses. He is going to be difficult to take down, and he is showing that he could potentially become a top 3, maybe even best running back in the league type of back. Depends how long is Derrick Henry going to play at the level he's playing right now. But Jonathan Taylor could really come out and just dominate in the league. And really, we saw what he did last year. So you have him, you have Marlon Mack as running back number 2. 2 number 1 running backs on any team besides maybe 3 or 4. Like any team, these guys could be number one, at worst number two running backs, but like five, right? Those five would probably be running back number two, but still. You have two number one guys. You have Naheem Hines, who can come in and play that number two back in the league. He's a threat when it comes to receiving. He's great when it comes to carrying the ball. Then you have Jordan Wilkins as running back number four, who could be a running back number two as well in a lot of other teams. Like, Jordan Wilkins, really talented. And then, who knows with Deion Jackson? Maybe Deion Jackson's great. I have no idea. We'll have to see. But with those guys right there, with the numbers they've put up and just the different things they offer you, and the fact that if, Jonathan Taylor needs a rest, you can put Marlon Mack in and not slow down. You can put Naheem Hines in and not slow down. Maybe a smidge, but it's not a big drop. You're going to continue to play like you have. And that is why, to me and to a lot of people, the Colts have the best running back room in the NFL. And it helps to have the offensive line that Indianapolis has because, oh my God, having that offensive line and having the running backs, I should say, that we have is going to be phenomenal to watch, and Carson Wentz is going to love it. So there are my thoughts. That is why they have the best running back room in the NFL. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? And again, thank you very much for watching. If you're new, please click the subscribe button. It would help a lot. We're on this journey together. I can't wait till football season starts. It's going to be a lot of fun, so I hope you would join this channel and click that subscribe button. Also, click the bell icon so you're notified when everything goes up on this channel, live streams, just regular video uploads, all that good stuff. Make sure you click the bell. That way you're notified when that happens. We're going to have a lot of fun this off season. And again, if you like this video, click that like button. It would be very, very good if you did that. So thank you very much for watching. I've been Matt, Bleed Blue, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.